Still afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to be here. Just a couple of housekeeping items as always. Please put your phones on silent. Give you a chance to go ahead and do that. When we get to the question and answer portion, we ask that you raise your hand. Once you're recognized, say your name and your affiliation so everyone knows who we're talking to at that time. Once again, thank you all for being here for the Band of the Year performance. It's an outstanding event. I think everyone is excited to be here. Before we get a chance to hear from the band directors or the performers, we would like to welcome Ms. Nicole Reed-Billard, who's the Chief Marketing Officer from Red Lobster, to give us some opening statements at this time.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Robillard. I am Chief Marketing Officer for Red Lobster. Red Lobster is proud to serve as the title sponsor for ESPN's Band of the Year competition. This sponsorship reflects Red Lobster's commitment to celebrating the rich history, heritage, talent, and passion of the HBCU community, and we are honored to help shine a spotlight on their historic legacy. On behalf of the 545 restaurants across the United States and Canada and all of our employees there, we want to wish each of you the best of luck tomorrow in what is going to be the dynamic and show-stopping presentation. We will be cheering you on from each of our restaurants when you take the field tomorrow. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you again, and I think I speak for everyone that we do love Red Lobster, and we thank Red Lobster for being the title sponsor for us today. Today we have the fortune to have four outstanding bands who will compete tomorrow for Band of the Year title in the Division II and the Division I classification. Starting with my left, your right, we have Miles College Professor Willie Snipes, Virginia State University Dr. Taylor Whitehead, representing North Carolina A&T State University, Assistant Director of Band, Mr. Aaron Campbell, and from Florida A&M University, Dr. Shelby Chapman. At this time, we're going to get started by getting a general comment from each person to talk about what it means to be in this competition and how important it is to showcase the band members. We'll start with my right, your left. Doc.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone, and I would like to say on behalf of our university interim president, Dr. Timothy Beard, and of course, all of the administrators and students and faculty and Rattler community, we're very excited about this opportunity. We take this, first of all, we take this opportunity to acknowledge the Band of the Year community and the staff, along with Red Lobster, for this opportunity. And we realize that band is such a major part of many of the campuses throughout this country and around the world, but certainly on the HBCU campus. We're very excited to have this opportunity to represent one of the HBCUs at this historic event, and our university has been very gracious in supporting us in this endeavor as it relates to the things that were happening even on this week with the university final exams as well as our commencement ceremonies. But we're very grateful to the organizers of this event, and we're looking forward to the opportunity on tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Chipman, there was quite a lot of things that I might have said, but here we go. Our students are very well excited to be in this event. We always start our season with the end in mind, and what do we want to achieve, and how are we going to get there. Once we figure out what we want to do, we figure out what do we need to do it. And our students take that buy-in, and we're all in, and we do all the necessary steps that it takes. And not that we say that we are the top band, but to have the opportunity for others, our peers, our directors, to say, you all are doing great work. And the four of us are here today to represent the best of what HBCUs have to offer in the form of marching band. And so we are just elated and excited to be here, and that's what I have.
Yes. On behalf of Virginia State University's president, Dr. Makola M. Abdullah, and Trojans nationwide, we're super excited about returning to Atlanta this year for the second ESPN Band of the Year event. Last year was an exciting opportunity for us, but even more exciting to get the opportunity to come back once again. And similar to what Mr. Campbell said, we always look at the end in mind, and from day one of band camp, I announced to the students and their families that were there that we would be here today, that we were going to work hard and we would return to this event, and we wanted to shine as one of the top bands in the country. I think that everyone knows that on HBCU campuses, the bands are the heartbeat of those campuses. And for us, representing the CIAA, one of the smaller conferences, we're just proud to be considered to be one of the best. And just humbled by this opportunity, thankful to the sponsors, the title sponsors, but also thankful to the adjudicators that had the very tough task of doing this. When we start talking about the best, everyone obviously has opinions, but we go with the professionals, and we're working hard to continue just greatness, and thankful for the opportunity.
We have on our president, Ms. Bobby Knight, the 15th president, the first female president at Miles College. We're elated to be here, but my statement is going to be a little different. I'm thankful for this opportunity because a lot of my students are from backgrounds where it's not safe. And I'm from a background where it's not safe. So one of my bigger prayers when they go home for break is praying that they come back. So this is an opportunity to bring them back. And I thank you guys for this opportunity to show my students there's more to life than the things that goes on in everyday life. And it's personal. We're not a state-funded school. So this opportunity, it helps with uniforms, and it helps with balances with our students. 98% of the students at Miles College some type of financial aid. So this money was not something that we can just throw away. We're going to sit and strategically plan out how we're going to help our kids finish college. So my purpose of being here is probably different than anyone else. We're here to make a difference in students' lives. Thank you.
All right, thank each of you. At this time, if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. Someone will recognize you with a mic, and we'll get a chance to ask a question. Someone's gonna bring your mic. Young man in the back.
Thank you. I don't get called a young man too often, but I appreciate it. I got it. Tom Jones, reporter with WSB TV right here in Atlanta. To any one of you, what does it mean to be here in Atlanta? Are your students excited about coming here to Atlanta? I know you got the competition, but what does it mean for Atlanta to come here to Atlanta?
We're gonna do dealer's choice. So, Doc, you can go.
I don't mind starting. Thank you for that question. This year, the Florida A&M Marching Band specifically has 285 members in it. And I would say in that 285 members, there are about 45 students in the band from the metro Atlanta area, to include one of our female drum majors, who's a former student at Southwest Dekalb High School. And we've also had a previous student that was from Southwest Dekalb High School as well. And so when I think about the opportunity that we have to come here, and I think about all of the students that are from this area, it's almost like a homecoming for those students. And of course, in addition to having an opportunity earlier this semester or this year to play for the Atlanta Falcons, we had a chance to come here and perform as well. So Atlanta has always been somewhat of a home away from Tallahassee for many of the students, and for the Marching 100 and Florida A&M University, as we've had football games, as you guys know, MEAC Challenge earlier, and then the history that goes back with the FAMU Atlanta Classic game. And so we look at this for an opportunity to not only recruit students, but to instill the importance of attending a quality HBCU on our campus with the colleges and schools that we have, which is first and foremost, even beyond the band experience. And of course, to make students even more productive and outstanding as they leave our campus and become productive citizens. So home away from home is how I would kind of summarize the students we have in the band currently, and the opportunity that others, when they see us here in this community, will consider Florida A&M as a college of choice.
And we're gonna let, okay, go ahead.
I would also say, for North Carolina A&T, we visit Atlanta a lot. We are here almost twice a year in this particular stadium. I would say one year we had a show where the theme was like, we own the dome, because of our frequency here in Atlanta. And so when we come to Atlanta, we have something to prove every time. And what can we do to to elevate from what we did last time we were here. Because of our frequency in this place, you know, we can't just come in and just kind of do, you know, a standard show. We always have to elevate what we do here. And we've come across students who are from this area that have also said, you know, I saw the show when you all did this battle or when you did this event, and it's because of our attempt to do better every time we come to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium that we just want to make sure that we're putting our best every year, every time, and to attract those students that are coming from this area or from afar.
So, we come to Atlanta a lot also because we play against Morehouse and Clark. So every other year we come and, you know, we got Albany State also. But one thing that I did notice on today that it was brought to my attention from one of my students. They said, Mr. Snipes, we do not have a pro team in Alabama. You know, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers. So when we walked into the Dome today, it was an opportunity for students to see an NFL Dome. And we started out in Texas, but today was special because a lot of our leadership in our band is from Georgia. Our head drum major, our trombone section leader, and our trumpet section leaders from Georgia. So they get to perform for their families. I think I heard another director say home away from home. Whenever we come to Atlanta, it's also an awesome opportunity to recruit. This is one of the biggest places to recruit. This is almost like the mecca of band, high school band. So when we come here, it's always a pool, and everybody can get something out of that pool. So coming to Georgia, it is a recruiting outlet, but it's also a place where our students can return to perform for their families. So.
So I guess our situation is a little different. As we don't frequent Atlanta a lot, it's always just exciting to come for our students. We realize the significance of the many Atlanta high schools in the metro area as well as the neighboring counties. Just a lot of extremely talented programs out here. But one thing about this city loves good bands. And so to come here and perform for this city, it's a great opportunity, obviously from the recruitment standpoint. But you know here that if you put on a good performance, people will appreciate it.
I just had a follow-up to that question. Atlanta has a rich history with music, hip-hop. Did you tailor your performances? I don't know if you tailor the performance to the environment here or to the judges or what, but does that play a role because of Atlanta's rich music history?
We'll do one from D2 and one from Division I. So who would like to?
Well, definitely we're going to cut from the cloth from Atlanta because we want to play things that's recognizable to the stadium for the crowd can have response. So definitely, whenever we visit any type of city, we're going to try to do something from that city. So tomorrow we will play a couple of hits from some of the artists from Georgia.
Kind of the same thing. We're gonna, you know, we do have our specific focus when we come to do something like this, where we're gonna say, all right, one, we need to make sure that song recognition is a thing, you know. But the other thing is we don't want to box ourselves into that type of thing. So with us, we're always trying to be outside of box and show something new and different that, you know, maybe HBCUs aren't doing right now, but we could, you may see that in the future. And we're always trying to just break the mold of what is standard. And so coming into Atlanta, this is always an excellent place to try those things.
Keisha J. Kelly, Black College Experience. This question is for Dr. Whitehead. You talked about the band being the heartbeat of the campus. Can you expound on that? Because we know over the years, the band has gotten larger. From place to place, it's become one of the biggest things in the HBCU culture. So can you kind of expand on that?
Well, in HBCUs, from the beginning, when most schools are starting their academic year, bands are already in band camp. We play all through football season, and then once football season ends, we go right into basketball season with pep band, and all the way to the commencement ceremonies, playing through graduations. Bands are always there, but the bands participate in sporting activities on campus, events like Founders Day programs, and all kinds of ceremonies. But more importantly, anything that's dealing with school spirit, the band is going to be the first person that's called. And over the last 20 years, one of the things, every band up here, I'm sure that their drum lines are asked to do multiple performances. And when we think about the drum line, we do think about that beat, that heartbeat. And so we have become the heartbeat of the campus. And when you think of all of these institutions represented up here are fine universities and colleges. But when I travel the world, if I ask anyone, if we speak of Florida A&M, everyone knows who the Marching 100 is. And the same thing with most of the schools out there. People know of their schools through these band programs. I was a high school band director in North Carolina for 20 years. And in the state of North Carolina, everyone always talked about Duke and Carolina's basketball. But everyone also talks about these band programs at HBCUs. And we need to highlight the excellence of it. One of the things that, we get highlighted from the HBCU marching bands, but these programs have phenomenal wind ensembles, concert bands, and everything. So there's just a lot of greatness, and anybody who's been on a campus or ever attended an HBCU football game, they're looking for these bands.
Stephen Gaither, HBCU Game Day. This is for Dr. Whitehead. You guys, look, last year you were here, and the uniqueness of this event is that there's a winner and someone who doesn't win. You guys didn't win in your division last year, but you're back here now. Just talk about how, it's kind of like football teams, how much motivation that was for you guys to get back here, and then I have a follow-up after that.
First of all, I believe in humility. And last year, the best two bands won. They deserved to win, even in my division. And I was quick to congratulate Florida Memorial on their victory and amazing performance. But the greatest wins I've ever had came from defeats. And so we took the performance last year as a learning tool and immediately, just talked about some of the things that we could improve on to get us back this year. And the students, they wanted to come back and prove something. And so all year long, it's been a goal. The rankings are very exciting. I can say that. And just to see them throughout the months and see where we come out, and particularly with each of the sections, we talked about it a lot in the band room. Where the auxiliary placed at, where the drum majors, where the musicians. It's pretty exciting. And there are a lot of band directors out there who don't pay attention to that. And I know there's a lot of discussion on the internet. Everyone thinks it's all about the stands now. But the essence of HBCU marching bands is halftime shows. And so for everybody that's out there on the internet watching it that's going to hate against that, Dr. Taylor Whitehead is saying the essence of HBCU halftime shows, that's it, the halftime shows. Because if not, we can go back into the concert setting if we're just talking about playing songs and playing music. It's the pageantry, the showmanship, the discipline, the execution. That's what we do on the field. So for us, it was a learning tool. We're super excited, and we're going to continue to grow and continue to learn.
And then for Dr. Chipman, you guys were here last year for the game. Did you guys get a chance to see the Band of the Year? And then, obviously you're not back here for the game again, but you guys still made it back to Atlanta. Just talk about, being able to give FAMU something to cheer about here in Atlanta.
Absolutely, great question. So last year we were here for the football game, and of course on Friday we did have a rehearsal. But we did get a chance to observe some of the videos that came about after the Battle of Bands that had taken place that Friday night. And of course, on that Saturday of the game, those winners were announced. And that was motivation for us and ourselves to think about getting to that stage next year, realizing that last year we finished, I want to say, 6th or 7th place. And so that's motivation in itself, because FAMU has always been one of the top collegiate marching bands in the country, and there's certain principles that we believe in. And principles start first with our band motto and the precision and the kind of execution that's expected from our students, the high level of energy that we present, to attract the audience members that we believe are our greatest commodity to want to listen and realize what's going on in the FAMU band. The other thing is some of the more technical things that the FAMU band has been able to demonstrate on the field with our double time marching and, you know, our extended flag pose, which is something that most HBCUs and bands in general don't utilize. So there's a lot of excellence in what we do. There was a lot of encouragement throughout the spring semester, even as we prepared for this school year. And we want to thank, just as some of my colleagues did earlier, the adjudicators for finding out robbery to think that the elements that we're putting on the field match those as being one of the top groups that's in terms of why we're here today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nadira Munaj with Asset Entertainment Group, formerly correspondent with Anscape. I'm very happy to be here with you guys again today. I have notes on my computer, so I'm just going to read from here. My question from here, yes. There are marching band competitions that happen predominantly with core-style marching bands, so we know that this isn't a new concept. But what we find unique about the Band of the Year Championship is that it is actually adjudicating HBCU marching bands according to a standard rubric that we have seen throughout the season. What we find inside of HBCU marching band is that each band is celebrated for its uniqueness. So when it comes to this adjudication, even though there is a rubric, we know that HBCU bands have different things that make them special. So everyone in here as a band head could say, you know, we know the stark difference between Golden Delight's Color Guard versus FAMU Marching 100's Dirty Dozen. You know what I mean? And so for you guys, how is it that you are able to produce a show on a weekly basis to keep you at the top of this adjudication, to bring you here to this standard, to this competition rather, and what are some things that you would like to see be adjudicated that have not been a part of this adjudication so far?
We'll start with you, Professor Stakes.
Really? So, I'm a straight shooter. I've been battling, I'm telling Irv, I've been battling with myself for this competition. Do I be Miles or do I follow this rubric? I was a high school and a middle school band director in Tampa, Florida for 6 years, and my band scored very highly over the years when I was in secondary. But when I became a college band director, the flair of the Miles College Band coming out the end zone, the sound, you know, the catching the audience with the high energy. And sometimes adjudicators, they frown on that type stuff. And so I've been going back and forth, trying to say, okay, I'm going to back this down, I'm going to do this. Then I woke up this morning, I said, we're going to be Miles. Miles is the winner, you know, and we made it here being Miles. So I'm not going to change my show. You know, we're going to be Miles tomorrow. And it was hard because you want to win, but if you change your style to win a contest, you lose to your alumni, you lose your identity, you lose who you are. And my HBCU is more than what someone thinks. It's still judged. You know, like I tell my kids, if I'm happy band director, happy life. You know, so if I'm happy, that's what matters. There's no loser tomorrow. You know, everybody on this panel I got respect for. I mean that. But at the end of the day, it's a win just because our kids are here. So the adjudication already happened. I made it. You can't ever take that away from me. So you will see the Purple Marching Machine at full throttle tomorrow. So you just be ready.
Yes.
So I do believe that, you know, you don't want to lose your identity for, you know, to win. You know, it shouldn't be that. But I don't think that a rubric can change what you are. A rubric just tells you how well are you doing what you do. You know, that's how we can judge that. And I think that, you know, you can still be yourself and still get top marks in the rubric. So, for example, if you're playing sloppily, why should you get top marks in music? You know, if your marching is not together, why should you get top marks in marching? So, I think if anything, having a rubric can help you to identify what do I need to work on. Just if you're not thinking about these things of how clean is my marching, how clean is my playing, what are we doing as a unit, and do they line up with this rubric? You know, I really believe that a rubric can only help you in enhancing what you already do. And so with us, we looked at the rubric because, we wanted to make sure that those things were addressed, but we weren't going to change, just like Miles, we're not going to change who we are to fit the rubric. We're going to make sure that we're doing the best that we can do so that if somebody decides to judge us or not, whether it's judged or not, we're still at the best at what we did.
We'll go to the young lady in the back.
Samantha Terry with Drumline Live. I wanted to ask, how does your program use platforms like the Band of the Year competition to inspire and recruit talented high school musicians? And what advice would you give those aspiring students looking to join a collegiate program such as yours, or for post-high school opportunities such as Drumline Live? Shameless plug.
For this, we'll go with Dr. Chipman and Dr. Whitehead.
Awesome question, because we're here because we not only want our students to have a great quality experience in our various programs, but we also want to inspire the next generation of musicians, whether they're elementary school musicians, whether they're middle school and or high school, because they're the lifeblood. I mean, many of us have 20, 30, 40, 50 years experience, and we know that the time is near. And so as much as we can inspire the next generation of musicians that may want to attend one of our universities, it starts with our platforms that we put on the field. And so I would say to those high school students, the fundamentals that need to be emphasized, just as we have with the rubrics that we're dealing with tone and intonation and balance, articulation, phrasing, dynamic contrast, sight reading music, would be the emphasis, not only that the adjudicators have asked of us throughout this year, but also these students, so that when they get ready to audition for scholarships, they'll know what those rubrics and those kinds of things that'll be important if they like a scholarship to be in any one of our programs. That would be the emphasis we would want to always put out there to high school, middle school, elementary school music teachers and their students.
For us, if you think about most of our HBCU bands, everyone's football season is over, besides those in the Celebration Bowl tomorrow. For us, it's another opportunity to perform, another opportunity for exposure, another opportunity for students across the country who don't know anything about our program to see it. We understand the significance of this area, but also the significance of how big ESPN Plus is and to have the viewership there. But from the students in the band program, to get back to this point, to get here, it is exciting. And when we use it as a recruiting tool to say that we are recognized as one of the top programs in the country, and if you want to do the larger events, this is a program that you want to be a part of.
Good afternoon, Dr. William Irvin with Conselmer HPC Collective. The question for the panel. We're excited at Conselmer that each of the programs that are represented here, high schools and colleges, utilize some product from Conselmer, but we're most excited to provide educational resources to each of your schools for making it here today. How do you feel about the fact that one of your students from each of your schools will receive a tuition scholarship to Conselmer Institute? Especially your music majors and student leaders who will learn some things this summer. What value does that add to your students being able to be here for this event?
We'll start inside out. Dr. Whitehead.
As someone who loves Conselmer and very thankful to all Conselmer does for the HBCU community, specifically Mr. Irvin, Mike Camphouse, really excited about the continuous support that you offer to HBCU bands. But as it relates to the Conselmer Institute, what Dr. Chipman hit it a lot of times. We're preparing our students for the next generation and of music educators and leaders. And so to put our students in that platform and, for them to have more experiences to learn outside of their normal college settings is an amazing opportunity, and we're grateful and thankful.
Yeah, same. I totally ditto on that comment. And with our students, they come to my office a lot itching to learn things. Even non-music majors are coming in and saying, hey, can you show me this? Can you teach me this? And then some of them come in with the problems of, do we have any extra scholarship money? That type of thing. We encounter all sorts of students that have all sorts of issues, but also all sorts of desires that they want to get out of their HBCU experience or their school experience. And, with Conselmer helping in that end, it's a phenomenal thing. And I am certainly, and I know they would certainly also be appreciative of any opportunities that they have in school and whatever it may create going forward.
Professor Sykes, would you like to address the question?
Well, I just think whenever a student get an opportunity, they should take it. You know, I tell people all the time, I learned a lot in the conversations with my friends in the yard. You know, I learned a lot with just hanging out, eating with friends and just hanging out with my peers. So whenever students can travel with their peers and be a part of any type of institute or any type of educational setting, we're definitely for that. Con Selma has definitely been a blessing to the African-American heritage because a lot of times we do not have those type of opportunities. And for you guys to sponsor that is beautiful. So I just wanted to tell you thank you. And we're looking forward to have some of our students participate with the Con Selma Institute this year.
Yeah, ditto with it, what everyone has projected, and certainly every experience, in my opinion, leads to an increase in the hard drive. We're always talking about computers and cell phones and those kind of devices that lead to us learning more. And I know as a director that had an opportunity to be a part of the VIP experience, and we just can't, as Willie and everybody has said, we can't thank Con Selma enough. You look at all the MEAs around the country, you look at NAM, you look at any major conference, and even some of the smaller conferences within some of the states, you're going to see Con Selma there. And we're just grateful to the education department at Con Selma and what it provides to so many that those that are not a part of that experience may not even realize in terms of the quality of instruments, the virtual experience that's there, and just the general resources that are provided. And certainly, just as everybody has stated, we're grateful for the opportunity to be able to have one of our students to experience it as well, because that will lead to that student maybe being a band director or music teacher and extend that to their students down the line about the kind of opportunities that they had when they visited that set in Elkhart, Indiana. So thank you.
All right. Once again, we want to thank each one of you for taking time to join us today. And not only will you hear these four outstanding bands tomorrow, you also hear 2 high school bands from Jonesboro High School and South Dekalb High School. Once again, thank you all for taking your time to join us, and have a good evening.